Hey up! It's hard to believe I've had my classic 350 now for almost 3 years. A thoroughly wonderful little motorcycle with amazing pillion carrying capacity. But late last week, Royal Enfield announced that they're bringing out the new 2025 version with some upgrades that I think a lot of people will be very pleased about. And of course, a whole new palette of colour choices. Now, the classic 350 is the sort of pre-1949 rendition of the Bullet, a version of the motorcycle which is reminiscent of the circa late 1930s, early 1940s. And as part of the Bullet range, that makes the classic 350 the longest running motorcycle that's been in continuous production in worldwide motorcycling history. This model in essence is rapidly approaching its centenary. 100 years in production. No other manufacturer can claim that. Now, I remember 3 years ago when I first reviewed the classic 350, there were several sort of questions or comments that came up in the comments section of that video, and it would appear very much as though Royal Enfield were listening. This year's new upgrades tend to be more electronic than anything else. There's no gain in power or any other structural changes to the bike that I can see. In fact, if I'm honest, having ridden this bike for 3 years, there's not an awful lot that you can do to improve it. It's a pretty much perfect little bike at this price point and cubic capacity. First of all, we have a USB-C port fitted to the handlebars. I think previously it was a standard USB, but if you've bought a new phone or charger in the last 5 years, you'll realise that almost all charging cables are now USB-C to USB-C, and the old USB is out. It makes sense, and it's a thoughtful touch by Royal Enfield that you no longer have to go straight onto Amazon to find a USB to USB-C in order to charge your phone or whatever else on your bike while you're running it. The new Royal Enfield 350 Classic will accommodate your standard charging lead straight out of the box now. The new 2025 Classic 350 is also going to be equipped with adjustable clutch and brake levers, which again is a useful addition to the bike. Not everybody has the same sized hands, and I know that was one of the first modifications I made to my Classic 350. Well, you've got no need to do that anymore. Now, one thing that I think people will be very pleased about, because this is something that came up a lot in that original review that I did, is that it is now going to be equipped with an electronic gear position indicator, which I'm presuming will be situated in that little sort of rectangular LCD displayed below the speedometer. And last but not least, the bike is now going to be equipped with all-round LED lighting. That's an LED headlamp, indicators, and tail and brake light. Now, I'm a little bit on the fence about this. Over the last decade or so, we've seen LED lighting sort of creep in for automotive use by just about everybody. Now, I sort of see the point of it, and at the same time, I don't. Back in the old days, blown bulbs were a bit of a hassle. You were constantly having to sort of, change your bulbs when they blew. I remember having a bike back in the sort of mid-1990s that used to blow its tail lights like they were going out of fashion. In fact, I always used to carry 2 spares in my pocket. Yes, theoretically, LED is more reliable. And I say theoretically, it's only more reliable if you're relying on low-quality incandescent bulbs. I mean, in the fullness of time, my 40-odd years of riding and driving, changing bulbs isn't something I've had to do an awful lot, apart from that one motorcycle that I've just mentioned. My Toyota Hilux, which I had from about 97, I think it was, until 2012. I never had to replace any of the bulbs once in over 140,000 miles. So I don't think the lifespan of incandescent bulbs, quality incandescent bulbs anyway, was ever really in question. That seems to be the main reason that a lot of people want LEDs, because they last forever, but they don't last forever. They will eventually give up the ghost, especially when you consider that they are very dependent on electronics as well, which can also be prone to failure. And when it finally does come to that point where a unit goes, it's not just a matter of putting a new LED bulb in, it's a complete unit, which is going to be very expensive. Now, it's early days, we've only seen LED sort of migrating onto cheaper motorcycles in the last 5 years or so, but I do think there's that potential for bike owners whose bikes are 10-15 years old, them possibly scrapping the bikes because, you know, replacement units are prohibitive. I don't know, I've got no data on that, it's just a sneaky suspicion I've got that this could become an issue in the future. And the other issue is the colour temperature of these LEDs that manufacturers tend to choose. They generally seem to be sort of midday sun at sort of 10,000 degrees plus Kelvin. Even though there's still the same sort of lumen output of the older, halogen lights, etc. That white light is very harsh on the human eye, not just for the rider, but for oncoming traffic as well. I know the Department for Transport here in the UK are about to start yet another study on whether this is suitable for road use or not, because it has raised a lot of safety questions. I mean, my personal view is that somewhere between 6,500 and 7,000 degrees Kelvin would be more suitable, but then it wouldn't have that bright, new, modern LED look about it, which I think is what, grabs a lot of people. That's why they want it. And this is just my personal opinion, but I think a more yellow light would be more in keeping with a modern classic motorcycle. Now, the 2025 Classics are going to be available in 3 different trim levels, starting from the bottom, the cheapest version being the Heritage. We then have the Heritage Premium and the Chrome. And of course, to satisfy the Blackout Brigade, there is also the dark version in matte black, which is my least favourite. It just feels wrong on a classic bike. Now, actual colour options are a bit limited. We've got Madras Red for the Heritage model, Medallion Bronze for the Heritage Premium, that's a 2-tone colour with the Medallion Bronze and white painted inserts, and a rather gorgeous Emerald Pearlescent on the Chrome model. It does look like Royal Enfield are actually trying to declutter their colour options here a little bit, especially when you consider the original options that were available when the Classic 350 first came out. And I don't really see that as a bad thing. Sometimes too many options can be a bit of a problem for some people. The last time I looked, which admittedly was about a year ago now, the Classic 350 was Royal Enfield's top-selling model. It may have been eclipsed by the Bullet now, but I doubt it. And deservedly so, because this is a cracking little motorcycle. It's certainly my favourite of the Royal Enfield lineup, and judging by the sales figures, it's almost everyone else's favourite as well. It's a superb little motorcycle that'll do just about anything you need it to do. So far, Royal Enfield haven't released prices for these motorcycles. I've heard it mooted that the base model will be around £4,500 or just under £4,500. Going on Royal Enfield's usual pricing structure, that would put the Chrome model at probably just under or around about £5,000. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and my other videos, and in doing so helping to support this channel. I really do appreciate it. You can offer your support by leaving a like and subscribing to this channel if you're not already a subscriber, or you can leave a donation via PayPal or subscribe to my Patreon page. The details for both of those are in the video description down below. Also, there is the option of using the super thanks button down below. I just see these as a voluntary facility for people to leave a tip if they want to support the channel. It is voluntary, there's no pressure. I am of course going to be back on Friday, so until then, please ride safely and I'll see you soon.